To guarantee technological progress or to recognize the need to discontinue certain electronic components within the production process, we have to regularly review and update our electronic systems. For this reason, the FS400 and FV4000 measurement units have to be replaced by the FSX400 system. To provide our customers with a simple and uncomplicated way of using these new systems, an upgrade kit has been developed that allows the new electronics to be used with the existing sensors of the FS4000 or the FV4000 systems. As the existing sensors can still be used, customers benefit from being able to use the new technology without having to adjust the associated processors or equipment. In the following tutorial, we will show you how to install the new electronics on the sensors of the FS4000 or the FV4000 systems as a remote version by means of an upgrade kit. All of the required components from the retrofit kit are described and numbered in the mechanical retrofit instructions. All of the components are labeled in accordance with the mechanical retrofit instructions. Before starting work, disconnect the equipment from the power supply, observing the 5 safety rules in accordance with DIN VDE 0105.
The following videos shows the dismantling of the flowmeter with the integral mount design. For dismantling the remote mount design, please refer to the upgrade manual.
Unscrew the housing for the old transmitter. Now you can remove the old electronics. Loosen the 3 screws on the electronics with a Phillips screwdriver and carefully pull the electronics out of the housing. Carefully loosen the 2 connectors on the sensor cable. You can now remove the old transmitter head. Remove the label that covers the screw connection and loosen the 3 Allen set screws using a 3mm Allen key. Carefully remove the housing. It is essential to ensure that the cable connections are not damaged when you pull them out because the connectors could crack in the housing bushing. These should be fed carefully and individually through the housing bushing. The process of dismantling the old measuring electronics is now complete and the new electronics can be mounted on the sensor. Slide the plastic adapter, item 14, into the lower end of the front-end board housing. Pass the sensor cable through the bushing of the front-end board housing, item 12, on the upgrade parts list. Now attach the front-end board housing to the sensor tube and align it so that the 3 holes in the front-end board housing are centered on the threads of the sensor tube. Then, screw the front-end board housing to the sensor tube using 3 Phillips head screws. Parts list item 13. Spring washers must first be added to the screws. Parts list item 13. Now attach the wide connector for the sensor cable to the PCB on the housing of the front-end board. The 2-pole connector with the green and the white cable is no longer needed as the temperature measurement no longer needs to be supplied in the new version due to a new process. When attaching the connector, ensure that none of the connection pins on the connector strip are bent against the PCB. The ribbon cable is passed through the cover of the front-end board. The cover is then placed on the front-end board. Take the ribbon cable on the front-end board housing and bend it once without damaging the wires in the ribbon cable. Depending on the mounting position of the sensor, based on the direction of flow in the process pipe, the front-end board can be mounted differently. If the ribbon cable is on the front board, bend the ribbon cable clockwise. If the ribbon cable is on the rear board, bend it anti-clockwise. Otherwise, it will lead to problems during further assembly because the ribbon cable connectors are not correctly attached to the communication board. The ribbon cable is then wrapped clockwise approximately 3 times and placed in the plastic cap, parts list item 6. In the next step, the transmitter head is screwed onto the housing of the front end board. Carefully pass the ribbon cable through the bushing of the transmitter head using the plastic cap and then screw it to the housing of the front end board as far as it will go. Make sure that the connector and the cable in the protective sleeve are not damaged. Then turn it back to the desired mounting position and secure the transmitter head using the lateral hexagon socket screw. A 3 mm Allen key is required for this purpose. Pull the connector on the ribbon cable through the opening in the plastic cap and attach the ribbon cable to the connector strip on the remote connection board. The remote connection board is then inserted into the housing. On the housing PCB, there are 8 contact pins that lead into the female connectors of the remote connection board. Proceed very carefully, otherwise the contact pins may become slightly bent or damaged. The remote connection board is secured in the housing using 2 screws. The remote terminal block, item 8, is now inserted in the back of the transmitter head and screwed into position. On the housing PCB, there are 8 contact pins that lead into the female connectors of the connection board. Proceed very carefully, otherwise the contact pins may become slightly bent or damaged. The remote unit is provided with a pre-fitted cable ex-factory. Install the remote unit at the designated assembly area. Pull the cable through the PG clamp and secure the cable with the PG gland. The shielding is screwed to the housing earth in the rear part of the transmitter head. The connection cable is connected to the remote unit as follows: green to terminal 5, ground; yellow to terminal 6, VDD; white to terminal 1, M/R; pink to terminal 2, HS; brown to terminal 3, RX; and grey to terminal 4, DX. Finally, the electrical connection to the remote unit is established and the front and back of the housing can be screwed together with the covers.